Hi, I'm Barbara Rimkunis, and this is your Exeter History Minute. We're taping today during the quarantine of 2020. Rest assured, Laura and I are carefully maintaining 6 feet of social distance. Stay over there, Laura.
Don't worry, I will.
She probably touched that. Oh. Okay. Nevertheless, it is March, which is Women's History Month, and we really wanted to bring you the story of one of Exeter's women at work. So here's the story of Exeter Hospital Superintendent Sarah Nicholl. Nicholl was from Annapolis Royal, Nova Scotia. At the age of 29, she was recruited to attend the Exeter Hospital Nurses Training School. The school frequently looked for students from away because it was thought that local girls might know local patients a bit too well. This is before HIPAA laws, remember. Sarah was a lot older than her fellow students, which might have helped her to advance as quickly as she did. While she was a student, and with just 1 year of formal training, she and the hospital had to deal with a lot of the staff leaving to serve during World War I. And then the 1918 influenza pandemic struck. The hospital staff was stretched thin, with a number of doctors and many of the nurses falling ill. One of the Nova Scotia nurses died. Nichols too became ill in November, but she did recover. Her class was finally able to graduate in 1920. Nichols stayed on as a duty nurse, then was promoted to head nurse, then supervisor, assistant superintendent, and superintendent of the hospital, all within 5 years of graduation. She held the top administrative post at the age of 34 and kept it until her retirement in 1957. The Exeter Hospital Report of 1927 described the superintendent's job as both onerous in detail and fraught with grave responsibility. In addition to her general administrative functions as head of the hospital, she acts as admittance officer, as keeper of accounts and records, as director of the nurses' training school, and as housekeeper of an institution that has included as many as 70 people. Imagine that 5-year class reunion. What are you doing now, Sarah? I'm running the school. She trusted her people, filling supervisory roles at the hospital in the OR department, nursing, and night coverage with training school graduates. Exeter-trained nurses staffed the Phillips Exeter Academy Lamont Infirmary. She rotated students through outside programs at larger hospitals to get further training, just to be sure that Exeter nurses could pass the rigorous New Hampshire state nursing exams. She herself continued her education by attending the annual Institute for Hospital Administrators at Harvard Medical School. Low staffing during World War II was a problem. Nicholl enlisted the help of Red Cross nurses' aides. She continually requested more staff for the laboratory and x-ray departments and hired a certified dietitian to take over the cooking. She was such a careful administrator at Exeter Hospital that Nancy Merrill, who wrote this, herself a former nurse, would write of her, "It was said that she knew what size light bulb was needed in each socket." She thanked her staff in every report she filed. You really need these calm, steady bean counters in times of crisis. They're the ones who keep the panic down and the lights on. In 1957, Sarah Nicholl decided to retire. In 1940, she'd reported to the U.S. Census that she earned $1,800 in 1939 for 52 weeks of work, no vacations. During her entire tenure, she lived on site at the hospital. Polly Kennick remembered, "Miss Nicholl had a small apartment in the hospital itself, like a penthouse to us students, on the 2nd floor of the hospital." After her retirement, Nicholl, who had become a naturalized U.S. citizen in the 1930s, returned to her native Nova Scotia. The position of hospital superintendent was also retired. The new person in charge, a man, was hired as administrator. So much was her service appreciated that the trustees granted her a life income the following year. So here's to you, Sarah Nicholl, one of Exeter's women at work. For more information about Exeter's history, visit our website at www.exeterhistory.org.